These are my Wizard of Oz minifigures, and this is the Land of Oz. In this video, I'm going to challenge myself to build the Wizard of Oz in Lego with all the different characters and buildings in the movie. So stay tuned because things are going to get wicked. With all that said, Lego. This is Dorothy. She's a girl from Kansas, and this is her dog, Toto. She's a super detailed minifigure and came out in a Lego Movie 2 blind bag. She lives in this poor town with her family that she loves very much on a farm. The farm had lots of horses, cows, chickens, and even a whole pigsty, where one day she was messing around on top of the fence of the pigsty and fell in. She also had this really big thing for rainbows. So for whatever reason, one day Toto decided to go chomp on this mean old lady, so she got the local police to sign off on killing him. Wait, what? And as she was taking him to get executed, Toto kind of escaped and ran all the way back to Dorothy. Dorothy was obviously not very happy about this, so she decided,
we've got to run away.
So she decided to run away from her home. And while she was running away, she ran into this shady magician who used a magic ball to convince her to go home. And on her way home, she saw this giant tornado heading directly towards it, so she did what any normal person would, and ran directly into the house where it was heading. She ran inside her room and got knocked out by a window, and when she woke up, something really weird happened. The house was flying in the tornado, and when she would look out the window, she saw these weird things, like her aunt in a chair and her cousins rowing a boat, and this cow, because somehow her house was lifted in the tornado. But eventually the tornado dropped her over the rainbow, and I have to build the spot her house has to land. So I got to work on Munchkin Land. And in the movie, there are all these Munchkin houses that look kind of like mushrooms, and I even used these quarter mushroom pieces to make the roof. And on top of building all this mushroom architecture, I also tiled off the ground to start where the yellow brick road begins. This place is starting to look really nice, and
Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore. We must be over the rainbow.
And Dorothy started exploring this land, which didn't really have anyone in it. And then this lady came down in a pink bubble named Glinda the Good Witch. It also looked like her house may or may not have killed the Wicked Witch of the East. And these little guys called Munchkins were really happy about it. Like these ones who are from the Lollipop Guild, this one who's bald, and this other one who's a mayor munchkin. And I'm starting to think they're a little too happy about this woman being dead. So yeah, if you didn't get the message already, she's dead. The mayor even gave her a special award for it.
You've killed us so completely that we thank you very sweetly.
But other than these Machiavellian mini people dancing around in excitement, everything seemed to go pretty well until it's the Wicked Witch of the West. Yeah, that ugly green looking one. Hey! And Dorothy just accidentally killed her sister with her house. And her shoes just appeared on her feet. And the Wicked Witch kind of wants those.
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog too.
And then she was out. Now Dorothy was horrified by this whole experience and wanted to go back to Kansas. So the Munchkins gave her some advice.
Follow the yellow brick road.
And where does that go?
Follow the yellow brick road.
Oh, okay, but where does it go?
Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow, 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 follow the yellow brick road.
So I built the yellow brick road, and Dorothy's off to see the wizard. As I was continuing it on, she ran into this cornfield that I just finished building, where I also added this oddly religious picket with this guy shoved onto it. He's a scarecrow, and he doesn't have a brain, but he really wants one. So Dorothy got him down, and after another small musical number, invited him to go see the wizard, so that way he could ask for a brain. Anyway, I had to build the next section of the yellow brick road. So after putting down all the bricks, it was time to build a lot of different trees, like these apple ones, with different leaves, limbs, and faces. Wait, faces? That doesn't mean anything, right? Dorothy and Scarecrow started heading down the road when Dorothy picked an apple because, you know, she was hungry. And those trees were not happy. So they started eating apples at them, and they had to run away as fast as they could, and also maybe grabbed a couple extra apples. And on their way out, they ran into this very rusted Tin Man, who luckily had this can in front of him, so she oiled him up, and it turns out he's been in the same exact position for over a year, and he doesn't have a heart.
No heart? No heart.
And after another fun musical number, he also joined them to see the wizard. But it looks like I have to build yet another section of the yellow brick road. And this one's a forest, but this one's darker and has more trees. The three started heading down the road and were getting pretty nervous.
Lions and tigers and bears.
Oh my!
Lions and tigers and bears.
Oh my!
Lions and tigers and bears.
Oh my!
And then out of nowhere and completely unexpectedly, it's a lion! And he started chasing after Toto the dog.
Put him up, put him up!
And he was being really aggressive until Dorothy slapped him in the face, like any normal person would do with a lion.
What did you do that for?
But it turns out he's a bit of a coward.
I even scare myself.
Anyway, he wanted to ask the wizard for courage. He did a musical number, you know the deal by now. While this was all happening, the Wicked Witch was watching through her magical ball the same way I watch YouTube on my laptop, and she decided it was a good time to use magic to make them sleepy so she can get her sister's shoes back. Why didn't you just do that in the first place? So I built up this cool poppy flower field with all these different red flowers that they had to march through to see the wizard. And they're out. They fell asleep and couldn't wake up, and then out of nowhere, Glinda the Good Witch came by and dumped a bunch of asbestos on them to wake them up. Which means it's time to build the biggest ever made version of the Emerald City in LEGO. Alright, this thing is gigantic. It has over 300 of these green 2x2 cylinder pieces, and has so many details inside, which we'll get to in a little bit. Because the whole gang made to the end of the yellow brick road and knocked on the door, but they wouldn't let them in until Dorothy showed off her nice new shoes, and the greeter let her in to meet the wizard. But once you got inside, some weird stuff happened. Like, there was this special horse carriage where the horse would change colors, and it took them to a wash station to clean them all up to meet the wizard. There was a station for the Scarecrow to be stuffed, the Tin Man to be polished, and Dorothy and Lion to get a haircut. It's awful convenient they had a room just for Tin Mans. The witch also came by and started to make some vague threats in the sky using her broom, and the squad went in to visit the wizard. So I had to build his throne. And as they approached, they were all really scared, and especially the lion.
I am Oz, the great and powerful.
Nope, Lion's out. And after scaring everyone senseless, he told them to bring back the Wicked Witch's broomstick and that he would grant all of their wishes. After all this trauma, it made Dorothy realize how good things were back at home with her family. Almost like she should have never wanted to leave. But we'll get to that another time, because I have to build a witch's tower for them to steal the broomstick from. And by the way, if you want to build the entire land of Oz, I'll leave some instructions on my Rebrickable page. I started with this pathway to the front, which was really detailed, and then this drawbridge for her guards to stand by. And then I also started working on the 2 towers, which took legitimately forever. And by the time I was almost done, I put in some flying monkey minifigures, which are really expensive and some of the most weirdly detailed minifigures I've ever seen. And they only ever came in a Lego Batman movie set. But I wrapped up building the witch's castle, and it looks legit. She came over to her flying monkeys, and she told them to fly and capture Dorothy, so that way she can get the shoes back.
Now fly! Fly!
And as that was happening, the squad was walking in the forest preparing to catch the witch with a wrench, net, and even a gun. I didn't know Scarecrow had that dog in him. But the whole squad got mugged by some monkeys in the forest, and then the monkeys took Dorothy and Toto. Now they flew her all the way to the witch, and she was not happy to be there.
Give me back my slippers.
The witch tried to grab them off, but they were stuck to her. In fact, I think they're printed on. But while the witch wasn't looking, Toto escaped again outside the tower and then ran down to go get the squad and save Dorothy. And there were some guards outside, so they had to get in another way to save her. And after not a very hard look, the squad found her. But it looks like they were all locked in the room. Going so soon? Yeah, they are. And it looks like they were caught again. And I think the witch is about to finish them off.
How about a little fire, Scarecrow?
The Scarecrow caught fire, which is like a Scarecrow's worst nightmare. So Dorothy grabbed a bucket of water and put out the fire. And some of it happened to land on the witch, which caused her to start melting.
I'm melting! Melting! Oh, what a world! What a world!
And these guards too were really excited. What were these witches doing to these people? Anyway, Dorothy grabbed the broom and headed back to the Emerald City. And the wizard was kind of surprised to see him, and he told him to come back tomorrow. So Toto got mischievous and opened up this little curtain with a man behind it.
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
Yeah, he kind of just got exposed, and even though he isn't a real wizard, he gave them other things. The Scarecrow already had a brain, so he gave the Scarecrow something people who think they're smart already have, a college degree. Instead of courage, he gave the lion a medal for fighting the Wicked Witch, and it turns out the Tin Man already had a heart, so instead he gave him a testimonial. What?
That a heart is not judged by how much you love, but by how much you are loved by others.
And Dorothy was supposed to go up with the wizard in a balloon back to Oz, and there's this beautiful little end of the rainbow which I just built, and this is one of the most complicated rainbow designs I've ever seen. But as Dorothy was saying goodbye to all her old friends, the balloon kind of flew away. But hey, Bubble Lady's back, let's go!
You don't need to be helped any longer. You've always had the power to go back to Kansas.
And it turns out that by her wearing the slippers, she could have gone home all along, by clicking her feet together and saying there's no place like home.
There's no place like home.
And after that, she made it back home. She woke up in her bed and she was really happy to see that her whole family was there for her.
And I'm not going to leave here ever, ever again. Because I love you all.
Dorothy, Scarecrow, Tin Man, and the Lion all believed that they needed something to be happy. But by the end of this whole adventure, they realized they had what they needed inside them the whole time. And you have that too. So if you like this video, you'll definitely like this one or this one where I built Willy Wonka's chocolate factory in Lego. With all that said, God bless and stay awesome.